All right, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Kwiecinski. As you said, I have a company called Face the Music, and we do leadership development and team development using songwriting and music. And I'm also an organization development consultant. And sort of unfortunate the setup around the traditional song singing along, because I'm not going to do that. But maybe we'll get a little something in. But what I wanted to do is talk about, I'm also doing a thing where I'm going to be teaching a master's degree class online called Songwriting and Leadership. And so I was going to bring some of the stuff that we're doing with that here because I think it really applies to the conscious leader conversation. And for me, in that conversation, as leaders, our instrument is our being. So it's our mind, our body, and our energy. And music engages all that. And songwriting in particular helps to stretch our perception and reframe things a lot, to get in touch with things. For me, like when I write a song, I'm not necessarily inventing something. I'm trying to find something that already exists. It sort of comes from somewhere else. So as a leader, I think that's tuning into that, and it's getting past the bias of just our minds, and getting into our bodies and into our energies and into a larger perception. So that's sort of what I'm going for. So what I wanted to do is first, I do a lot of things with human tuning. My buddy John calls it, he wrote a book called Human Tuning. And so all of us, and you folks online too, like to get tuned up first, like we're like an orchestra that's going to be playing. You're going to be playing together all day. So I actually have the tuning forks here. And see if you can hear these things. Can you hear that? Pick one of those notes. Okay, pick one of those notes and give me an ah. 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 Another one. Ah. All right, if you could do this, now give me one with ooh. One more. And the last one is humming. Now let's put those three together with the primordial sound. So you start with ah, and you just keep the same noise going. You go ah, but you just gradually close your mouth. We do that 3 times. Okay? You want to close your eyes because that helps you tune in by cutting off the visual stimulation. I invite you to do that. Let me see if I get the notes right, because I might be out of tune already. One more time. All right, we're in tune, I'm saying. Thank you. According to the Vedic tradition, that is the sound that originated creation. It started with vibration, and everything that exists is vibration. Matter is energy vibrating at a certain frequency. So the tuning of it helps us get aligned with things. And I recommend it. this guy, John Ballou, that wrote the Human Tuning book, he lives in my little town, Stone Ridge, New York. And somebody came to a workshop and was staying at my house, and they gave me tuning forks in the book. And I'm going, this is like 12 years ago or something like that. No, maybe, I'm open to it, but it sounds a little fishy. I started doing it, and I read the book and got to know him a little bit, and I'm going, I'm a believer. So get a couple tuning forks and tune yourself a couple times a day. I'm recommending it. Now I want to move on into self-expression now. So, the using music, I was talking about the songwriting thing. It's like finding out something inside of you and how to express it through sound. So I'd like to try an experiment. I'd like you to think of a leadership experience, whether you were a leader or being led, a negative leadership experience where, Kimberly, you have one that you already told me about this morning. But think about that. What, were you frustrated? You were mad? You were afraid? What was the emotion? So just sort of tune into that. I invite you to close your eyes again and think about what this situation is. What am I thinking? Oh yeah, I remember that. So what I'd like you to do, and I'd like you to encourage yourself to really let it out, is to make some kind of noise that expresses the feeling you remember from that on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. I felt it. I was thinking of a certain incident when I was working at Ford after I just graduated from college. That was a wake-up call. But anyway, I won't get into the details of that. So, what am I thinking? When I think of conscious leadership, this is one of the things that I'm working on, is to using sound, music, self-expression in expanding our self-awareness of our being. Because I think expanding our own consciousness is what makes the conscious leader, and then doing that in community is what's going to make a difference on a like a global level as well as a community level. So now I'd like you to think of something that was in a leadership experience that was very positive, that was a triumph, or it was satisfying, or that was a good thing. And let's do that exercise once again, just for the positive experience. So on the count of, well, let me give you a minute to think of one and get into the feeling. Feel where you feel it in your body. Our bodies give us a lot of information. All right, on the count of 3, give us a sound that expresses how that feels. 1, 2, 3. Louder, louder, louder. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's like an angelic choir there. All right, so here we are at the Leadership Forum community, directly above the center of the earth here. I'd like you to think of like what's present for you right now, why you're here, maybe what you've gotten here. What I'd like you to do is think of some wisdom that you have that you would like to share. So it could be something, your context for how you're living your life. It could be something, an aha from yesterday, or a revelation. It could be something that you'd like to share with people to live by. So think of like a phrase of wisdom that you would like to share. Phrase of wisdom. We got one? Got something? I got one. So I'd like to invite you to stand up. And Move around, like maybe walk a little bit or just move, but think of your phrase and then tune into a rhythm, maybe the rhythm of your walking or your breath or your heartbeat or the feeling, just the feeling that you get around. And think of your phrase, and then what I'd like you to do is find, like, sort of chant it. Try and encourage you not to necessarily make up a melody, but to find one that's already out there, like you're sort of catching it or tuning into it. So think of your phrase, and we'll just take a little while. You walking around there at home? All right, so start chanting to yourself with the melody to your praise. All right, so I was going to wrap up here by actually doing just a little bit of a sing-along. So I think the song that came to me as I'm traveling and about to travel again is Woody Guthrie's "This Land Is Your Land." So why don't we just join in our voices together on the chorus. You ready? 2, 3. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me. All right, thank you all.